Hello YouTube, this is Jessica Giaquinto. I am the author of the debut novel Stand Up Fight Back, Young Adult Murder Mystery with Supernatural Elements. It is available on paperback and ebook currently on Amazon. I will leave a link in the description below. And today is going to be a really fun day. I wanted to talk about, again, books, but more specifically, a series that has just entirely taken over my world. Just absolutely taken it over. I mentioned during my October wrap-up and TBR that I was reading a book called Imperial Stout. And this book is from the wonderful author Layla Reyne, and she has a whole series of books. It is a spin-off of a series called Agents Irish and Whiskey. Now, I didn't know that it was a spin-off when I first started reading it, and I was very confused. So, I read Imperial Stout, and then I read Craft Brew, which is the sequel to Imperial Stout. And then, as I was reading Craft Brew, I'm like, I should probably read the original series. So I got Single Malt. Single Malt, I finished within 5 days, and then I read Cask Strength in 2. And then, right after I finished Cask Strength, I read Barrel Proof. I literally went right from Cask Strength to Barrel Proof within an hour, and I read Barrel Proof within less than 24 hours while doing Thanksgiving at the same time. Audiobooks are my friend. I love them. So, suffice it to say, this series has seriously taken over my life. In 1 month, I read 5 of her books, and I have one of them I'm waiting for the audiobook for, and the other one is a novella that doesn't have an audiobook. But considering how short it is, I might be able to just bust through that one day. So that won't be no problem. I haven't even talked about what this series is. Okay, so let's start with the original series. Imperial Stout is a completely separate one. Single Malt deals with the relationship between Aiden Talley, who is an FBI agent, and Jameson Jamie, or he's also known as Whiskey Walker. And Jamie is a cyber agent for the FBI, formerly NCAA basketball player. And the way he's described is that there's never been a camera that hasn't loved him. So you could suffice it to say that he's pretty good looking. But he's also very sweet Southern man. He's from North Carolina, and he's probably the sweetest cinnamon bun you will ever meet, but as you quickly do find out, he does have a sore spot, and that is when Aiden is involved, usually if Aiden is in trouble. And at the beginning of the story, I'm just going to put a big spoiler warning on here because I cannot talk about this series without spoiling anything for it. And that's just, for me, spoilers don't mean anything because I don't mind if a story is spoiled. Because I already basically spoiled the series for myself because I read the spin-off, which features these characters in it. But in this one, you get to see how their romance blossoms. And it took place over 3 books, and it started off with Aiden. He just got out of rehab for a physical injury from a car accident that took the life of his husband, Gabe, and his partner, Tom. Now, he has to be paired with Jamie. And Jamie, in the interim, for the last 3 years, has been basically lusting after Aiden, but out of respect for Aiden's husband and his relationship, he's like, I'm just going to put this on the back burner. Now, Aiden is widowed, and he is incredibly hurt by this. He misses his husband, he misses his partner, and he's told the day before he goes back to work by his boss, Mel, it's like, the accident was not an accident. It was intentional. And he had been saying this for the last 8 months, but everyone was saying, it's like, no, this was just a routine accident. The investigation got swept under the rug, which to me automatically sends up red flags. It's like, okay, this is an FBI agent and an FBI agent's husband. Why would this just automatically be swept under the rug if it was just an accident? Like, it was closed so quickly. I'm like, this would send up red flags for any other person. If anyone, even if they don't have, like, police knowledge, you would think that this would be odd. So it's like, I don't like this. So Aiden decides him and Mel are going to investigate this with the help of Jamie, who is obviously, as I said, a cyber agent. He is an incredible hacker, and he actually dabbles into the black hat version of hacking as well as the white hat, but he's more on the white hat side of it, but he will go into that darker place. Now, if you're watching this video and you're confused by what I'm talking about, a white hat hacker is someone who works with companies, finds the things in their digital security that are holes. But a black hat, usually 9 times out of 10, will be someone who does it just to prove that they do it. They will break into internet security just to say they can, or they do it for monetary value. And they will break into security systems that they have no business being in. And usually they are the bad ones. If you ever hear the term like bad hacker, that is what a black hat is. They do break the law, but they do it in a way that it's like you wouldn't even know what's going on, because they are doing it in such a roundabout way. But anyway, back onto the subject at hand. The 3 cases that they deal with during these 3 books all have something to do with their relationship and the overarching theme of finding out what happened to Gabe and Tom that night. And it was so heart-wrenching because while Aiden and Jamie are working together to take down this guy, Jamie is hiding from Aiden that Mel has asked him to look specifically into Gabe and Tom in their connection to the person that caused their death. Because they find out that Gabe and Tom and several people that they have known have a straight connection to this overarching bad guy. And as I'm reading through book 2, I am not looking forward to the fallout from when Aiden finds out. And he doesn't actually find out about it until the 3rd book. 3rd book was hard. It was smaller than the other 2 predecessing books because everything is so lightning fast. But oh my god, the emotional fallout that came. It was worse than anything I could have imagined. Aiden was so mad at Jamie, at Mel, at everyone who knew that he actually had to take 6 weeks of doing undercover work away from everyone to get back to equilibrium because he was still so angry. And part of me understood why he was angry, but then part of me is like, one, Jamie was ordered by their boss, and he is always going to follow what his boss says, even if he disagrees with it. And at this point, Jamie and Aiden have confessed their love for each other. And Jamie does try to explain, but at that moment, Aiden wasn't wanting to listen because when you're angry, you just shut down your ears and it's like nothing's getting through. And that part I understood. But it still didn't make me feel okay that Aiden wasn't even willing to listen even after the initial anger wore off. But again, like I said, I understand it. I don't agree with it, but I understand it. One thing I really liked in this series is that it brought forth a lot of side characters that I read when I was reading Imperial Stout that I'm like, I have no idea who you are. So it introduced me to Mel and Danny, who is Aiden's little brother, their relationship. And even though it was very sporadic that we saw Danny when it was interacting with Mel, you could tell that he truly cared about her. This is the first time this man has ever been in love with someone, and he's much younger than Mel is. Mel does make a statement, it's like 45 and falling in love. I'm like, yay! We have a woman who's in her 40s who's falling in love, and it's so great. And if Aiden, let's see, I think Aiden is heading towards 40, so Danny is much younger than him. So I'm going to say he's probably in his early 30s. I don't know exactly. Their book is actually the one that I'm waiting for the audiobook on. I'm interested in reading their story. I'm not feeling as connected to their love story as I was to Aiden and Jamie's, or even Nick and Cam's in Imperial Stout and Craft Brew. But I am interested to see what happens with them, because a lot of the things that happen in Mel and Danny's book automatically lead into Imperial Stout. So I want to read that so that I have the full story. Then I was contemplating rereading Imperial Stout and Craft Brew now that I have all that back history on my mind, and a lot of it would probably make a lot more sense, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do that yet. Because there's a third one coming out for Nick and Cam in February that I am dying for. I am watching Layla Reyne's Instagram for posts about it, so I am super, super happy for it. I cannot wait. I also have her 2 books for her swimming series, Relay and Malady. I don't remember the second title, but I remember that one was Relay, because relay and swimming. Now, the only bit of swimming that I have any knowledge of is what I've seen from like the Olympics and Michael Phelps, so it'll be interesting to see the research that went into it, so I'm super excited about that. But I know this video is probably running a little long, and it's just me splooging all over the place my love for this woman that I've just recently found. But so far, I love all her books. I love her characters. She does such a great job with atmosphere, and even down to the smallest character, you feel for them. You feel for their struggles. I do want to say one thing that I noticed a bit of a formulaic thing in her writing is you have one character that is out and one character that is not. Now, I don't know if that was intentional or if that's just how she saw the character. It was just something that I noticed, which I'm cool with. I'm cool with having one character who is out and then one character who's kind of still hiding who they are, and not being entirely comfortable with that, which, like I said, I'm cool with. It was just something interesting that I noticed as a parallel. This series is really good. So if you like male-on-male romance, and it does have smut scenes that I was like, oh, okay, we're gonna go here. Yay! I was so happy. Because they were actually tastefully done erotica scenes, and they are very detailed. So if you have reservations about that, I do caution you that it does come up at minimum twice in every book that I've seen. At minimum. There are times when it has happened a third time in that same book, but again, they're very tastefully done, at least in my opinion. I've written some very raunchy stuff, but that's neither here nor there. So if you have a problem with erotica, I wouldn't suggest reading this, because there are some very graphic scenes between the 2 males in either series. But if you're okay with that, I highly, highly recommend Layla Reyne's Agents Irish and Whiskey series and the Troubled Hops series, which is the spin-off with Nick and Cam. I will more than likely talk about Nick and Cam's story when I do my wrap-up for November, but right now I just wanted to talk about the main series, and again, this video is going to be extremely long. But if you are interested in looking it up, I do have the titles all on my Goodreads. They've all been marked as 5 stars because they've all been that amazing. So I highly recommend. Again, Stand Up Fight Back is available in both paperback and ebook on Amazon. You can check the links in the description below, and you can reach me on Facebook, Tumblr, Instagram, and right here on YouTube. Again, my name is Jessica G. Quinto. You all keep being fabulous, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!